boy releasing 2 videos in a month. I know, man, I know. But I told you I'm gonna try to do better. You know, I want to make this like a community for real, for real. You know what we feel like we on FaceTime with each other. You know, I want to be able to check in with you and you can check in with me. That type of vibe that I want to give off on this channel. You know, here for advice. You know, here for a little wisdom or whatever. But you know, I hope everybody been good. Hope your day been good as well. You know, my day been good. Everything been going good with me as well. But let's get straight to the point of the video. The topic that I got today is the mental health of young adults. So let's get straight into it. I don't know, man, if y'all been noticing too, but something feels off by this generation. And before anybody say we got lazy, nah, I really truly don't believe that. If anything, I think people been grinding harder than ever before. We've been working overtime. We've been picking up a second job. We've been trying side hustles. See, you even got some people going back to school. You even got motherfuckers learning new skills such as plumbing, electrician, there's overall trying to learn how to fix cars. There's anything, man. Anything to put your head above water. People doing everything they can to get ahead, and that will make this whole thing so frustrating because I know people putting in the work. A lot of people still feel stuck. I even feel stuck for real, for real. Like, I got 2 degrees and shit, and I ain't even been able to find a job. I can't even get an entry-level job in my field. And my degree is in cybersecurity and network system technology. And I came with some certifications, and I still can't even crack the code. I can't even get my motherfucking feet in the door. So I feel stuck as well. And a lot of people feel like they've been running in place, and after a while, that may start weighing on you. You ain't gonna lie, it will weighing on me as well. Like, some days I wake up, and I just feel like, what is my life gonna be in the next 5 years? You know, I know I'm trying, but it's like, I can't see the finish line. Not just physically, but mentally. You start waking up tired before the day ever begins, not because you ain't sleep, it's because you're carrying so much uncertainty. You're trying to figure out if life ever gonna get easier. You're trying to figure out if all this work eventually leading somewhere. You're trying to build a future while I feel like the future keep pushing farther away. And after enough years of that, it just changed the way you think. You hear it in conversations every day. People joking about never owning a house. People joking about being broke. People joke about working forever. But if you really listen, a lot of these aren't jokes. It's just frustration and disappointment, and most definitely fear. Because most people don't mind working hard. What hurt is feeling like your hard work ain't moving, ain't getting you nowhere. And that's why so many people feel mentally exhausted right now. Not because life is impossible, because it feels like every time you make progress, the finish line keep moving. It's just the finish line keep moving every year, every second, every day. I feel like that's not enough. We don't talk about that enough. The finish line keep moving. Every time it feels like you're finally getting somewhere, life moving again. Most of us grew up hearing the same thing. Go to school, get a job, work hard, stay focused. That's what you're supposed to do, and eventually life gonna come together. And at least that's what we were told. In reality here, you graduated, you get a job, you start paying bills, you start trying to build something for yourself. And then you realize how expensive just to exist. Rent higher than a motherfucker. That shit down about the same price as a motherfucking car note. Food higher than a motherfucker. It ain't no difference between going out eating and cooking. Insurance higher than a bitch. That shit down there. That car note and that go net and net now. Utilities higher than a motherfucker thanks to the data center that they use for AI. There's a lot that come behind this shit. Everything costs more. Every year it seems like the price tag on life keep going up. You save money, something happens. You get a raise, prices go up. And you finally get a little breathing room, then another bill show up. And after enough years of that, you start feeling like you're on a treadmill, running hard, sweating hard, working hard, but still standing in the same place. That will frustration turn into something deeper because people need progress. People need to feel like today's sacrifices are building tomorrow's promises. People need to feel like the struggle got a purpose. But when tomorrow keep moving farther away, it start messing with your head. Most young adults ain't asking for a mansion. They ain't asking for private jets. Most people want basic necessities. A place to call home, reliable transportation, a family, financial security, and a peace of mind. Heavy on the peace of mind. That's it. But even these things starting to feel like it's harder to reach. And after enough years of feeling stuck, a dangerous thought starts showing up. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I ain't doing enough. Maybe everybody else figured out life faster than me. And I ain't gonna lie, sometimes social media even creep up. Social media make me think that when I be looking at other people who doing, who life seem like they doing better than mine. But then again, I also have to remember that life is a journey. And my journey may not be what they journey at right now. I gotta go through my own hardships and shit. So sometimes I gotta remember that. But just know that social media also play a part into that as well. Maybe everybody else figured out life except me. And that's where this conversation stopped being about money. And now it's about identity. When the struggle becomes who you are, and that's where things start getting dangerous. Because there's a difference between saying you're struggling and believing you are struggling. First, it's just setbacks. a bill you want to spend, a goal that take longer than planned, a situation that didn't work out, normal life stuff. But when it keep happening over and over, it start changing how you see yourself. You start looking around, wondering why everybody else seems ahead. You start comparing where you are to where you thought you would be. You thought you would have more money saved. You thought you would be more established. You thought life would have make more sense by now. But reality don't match expectation. A lot of people start turning that disappointment inward. Instead of saying life hard, they say maybe something wrong with me. Instead of saying circumstances are tough, they say maybe I'm failing. But once these thoughts get in your head, they follow you everywhere, to work, to family events, to relationships, to bed at night. Because no matter where you go, you still got to deal with yourself. And when your self-image becomes tired of struggle, everything start feeling personal. Every setback, every delay, every obstacle, everything feel like proof that you ain't where you're supposed to be. And after a while, confidence start disappearing, not because you're incapable, because you're exhausted. And me, I can vouch for that, because I say 5 days ago, I just felt like I should be in a better predicament than I am. Even though I got a house, I got an apartment, I got a car, I got a job. I'm still trying to improve myself, but it's like mentally in my head, I'm just like, bro, I'm supposed to be here, that, I was supposed to be doing this and that. But some of that shit really fuck with you, because at the end of the day, you also got to hear shit from other people. I'm not saying that you care what other people think, but you got to deal with this. You got to be a man, supposed to do this. We're supposed to be here, this and that. Then again, we live in a different generation compared to our grandparents and just overall this in general. A lot of shit that different. Like rent down there, 2 bands, bro, and inflation and all that shit. It just don't keep up. Like it's impossible. Then they get rid of DEI, farmer action. It's just a lot of shit that's going against the grain for real. A lot of shit that ain't for us. This ain't the promising future for the youth, even for the kids of the next generation. They just trying to take away everything, and that ain't P, man. There's not P at all. And then when people start feeling exhausted long enough, they start looking around for proof that everybody else is doing better, and that's where social media come in. Now let's go back to when I was talking about social media, because that right there make everything worse. You already stressing about money. You already stressing about life. You already stressing about your future. Then you open up your phone and suddenly everybody looks successful. Everybody look rich. Everybody look happy. Everybody look ahead. You see somebody buying a house. You see somebody getting married. You see somebody starting a business. You see somebody traveling. Somebody making money. And before you even realize, you start comparing your real life to somebody else's highlight reel. The problem is you're seeing the results, not the process. You're seeing the winning, not the struggle. You're seeing the picture, not the pressure behind it. You're seeing what they chose to show you, not the full story. But your brain don't care. It'll still comparison with where you are, because no matter what you accomplish, there's always somebody online that seems to be doing more. So instead of appreciating your own growth, you focus on how far behind you think you are. And eventually people start feeling like they're losing a race that were never supposed to be running in the first place. Trying to keep up with strangers, trying to keep up with the timeline, trying to keep up with expectations, trying to keep up with an image that might not even be real. And after enough of that, people start questioning if their future, if they want it, is even possible anymore. We bring us to something bigger, the American dream. But let me highlight back on that social media thing. I don't have social media for the exact reason, because I used to be on there, seeing me at work and seeing people have fun. I'd be like, damn, what I'm doing wrong. And that's like, I always use social media for me was self-doubt to myself. So, I had to get away from it. And that's the main reason why I'm off social media, because, it was causing me to think, damn, what I'm doing wrong, what can be, what can be this and that, all the above, like how they doing this and that. But the whole time, a lot of people, not discrediting, because some people are really on their shit, but most of the time, a lot of people just run into debt, or, they not even saving money, they just using Afterpay, Corner. A lot of shit can look good when you dress it up good. Shit, if you let a motherfucker dress up shit, it'll look good. Let's get into the topic about the American dream. Most of us really just want a family, a good job, and just come home to our kids and our wife and our husband, or, vice versa. But then again, with the American dream, we start to notice that we're losing hope for real, because most of us did not want much, not millions. We didn't want fame, we didn't want luxury. We just wanted simple stuff, which is a home, a family, stability, security. I want to be able to retire like my great-granddaddy did from whatever he was doing back in the days, 50, 60 years ago, where they was able to work a mule and take care of 3 homes and shit with the salary of a milkman. But the ability to enjoy life, but we have lost the ability to enjoy life a lot, consistently worrying about money. That's what most people been chasing. But a lot of young adults, these things feel farther away than ever. That's what frustration started turning into sadness, because people aren't just grieving money. we're grieving possibilities. We're grieving the future that we thought we were going to have. The American dream was really not about being rich. It was about believing that life would get better, believing your efforts matter, believing your sacrifices will eventually pay off. But when people start feeling like hard work ain't enough, that belief start cracking, and when belief start cracking, hope starts slipping. You stop asking when things gonna happen, you start asking if they gonna happen at all. Would I ever own a home? Would I ever be financially free? Would I ever start stressing about money? These questions hit different because now we're talking about hope. And once hope starts fading, everything else starts feeling heavier. I think this is the deepest part of the conversation because when people hear depression, they usually think sadness, but sometimes it ain't sadness. Sometimes it's disappointment that's been building for years. Think about it. What happens when somebody spends years trying, years sacrificing, years believing, years pushing forward and still feel stuck? Eventually something changes, not around them, inside them. They start expecting things to work out. They start getting excited about the future. They start dreaming as big. And they start believing tomorrow can look different from today. And that's not always sadness. Sometimes that's hopefulness. Hopelessness. And hopelessness is heavy because hope is what keeps people moving. Hope is what gets people through hard seasons. Hope is what makes people believe better days are still possible. When people start losing hope, everything becomes harder, work harder, life harder, relationships harder, even getting out of bed harder. Maybe that's why so many people seem mentally exhausted today, because they're carrying more than stress. They're carrying uncertainty, they're carrying disappointment, they're carrying pressure. They're carrying years of wondering if things ever gonna change, and that's why I think the issue go way deeper than money. The issue go with a lot, man. We just wake up mentally tired, mentally drained, working a job that we really don't want to be at, because you know you ain't really making ends meet. You ain't even living paycheck to paycheck no more. At this point, you really below poverty. So a lot of shit comes into it, cause it been like in 2023, you know, I got a video on my channel that say like, I think it's dark times or whatever. That's when I lost everything. Like my credit went down ass, woo, 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 woo. And I haven't been able to shake back ever since then. Like I just been trying, but just like the job market ass. So there's a lot of shit that be on my mind as well. That's why I feel like this video was needed, because at the end of the day, I feel the same way a lot of young adults feel. We lost in the sauce of this world. We're trying to find out what to do, trying to do this and that without doing anything illegally. And then when you find out that this game is already set in stone, and then you got to break through the matrix, that's when you start to learn that the world ain't what you think it is. It's the total opposite. We're supposed to be suppressed because that's the only way that Elon Musk them can eat. They selfish, and that's the only way you can become the 1% of the world who own most of the money. Trust. I want to leave you with this. Maybe the bigger issue ain't inflation. Maybe it ain't housing prices. Maybe it ain't wages. Maybe it ain't even the economy itself. Maybe the biggest problem is what all these things doing to people's mind. Because people can survive hard times. History proved that. But when people start losing hope, that's when things get serious. A lot of people ain't fighting laziness. A lot of people aren't avoiding responsibility. A lot of people waking up every day, trying their best, trying to build a future, trying to stay positive, trying to keep going, even when they don't know how everything's gonna work out. That's the way a million people is carrying right now. The world may keep changing. Prices may keep rising. Life may keep getting more complicated, but don't let your circumstances completely determine how you see yourself, because your value ain't tied to your bank account. It ain't tied to where you are right now. It ain't tied to how long it's going to take you to reach your goals. Keep growing, keep learning, keep adapting, keep pushing forward, and most importantly, keep believing. Because the truth is, you're not the only one asking these questions. You're not the only one carrying this weight. You're not the only one trying to figure life out. A whole generation trying to do the same thing. Maybe things start getting better when we finally start having honest conversation about it, because at the end of the day, these conversations will never just about money. It's about people trying to hold on to hope when the finish line keep moving. And that's a conversation worth having. And I hope I brought some enlightenment on the mental health crisis of young adults, because at the end of the day is all we want is the same fair treatment as previous generation. But I just feel like that's impossible, because they feel like they're trying to take us back to, but I ain't gonna say it.